I don't know if it's recording, right? All right, cool. All right, so I'm basically going to do like a quick update on all of the markets, and then I'm going to go on and then share the screen to you guys. I have your guys' groups right here. I have all of the groups, and I'm going to select on you guys so we go over your guys' homework. Let me put it right here so I already have it ready. All right, so I love how the market has already kind of like shown us a lot of things from what I've been teaching you guys, and there's more things, right? So let's start off with Alex, what if the market is bearish and it goes to high? I got you. We'll get to that shortly, right? So let's start off with AUD CHF, right? So as you guys last remember, let's just show you guys AUD CHF, how we were basically heading to the upside, whatever. Then we created obviously a lower low. We were expecting to have a lower high at this structure point based off of we were explaining, right? We're expecting to have lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, because we wanted to come back to the previous structure point. But as you can tell, I marked off this area of interest too, right? So there's reasons why there's multiple different areas of interest, and then this will make sense like around week 3. And as you can tell, price hit my area of interest perfectly, hit the EMA, and then pretty much sold off right after that. But the reason why this kind of happened was the news, so there was no way I was going to get this. I don't use sell limits, buy limits, or sell stops, buy stops, any of those stuff. Because at that point, you're not taking the trade based off of confluences or based off of strategy. You're just literally taking this trade because it got to a zone and it just like took you in. Like there's no entry signal, there's no confirmation, there's nothing, right? So like all those shits for me is just not valid. That's like another way of like just being high risk for no reason. Like you're not taking a trade based off of confidence, you're just taking it because it got there, right? So this trade right here, I would have never caught, even if I was actively watching it, like sitting in front of the computer. This could have came into the zone. I do nothing because it still doesn't give me my entry signal. It didn't give me everything I needed. As you can tell, we could go down to the 15-minute. This was just like a quick spike, but it shows you like what these area of interest does, and it shows you how price has to come into these areas in order to continue to have the move. Like price needs to create these lower highs to have the moves. How it has it, whether it's fast or no, or however it does it, like that's not in my control. I know that when it does have it and it meets all my rules, I then take it. And the probability of it having this move and rejecting this area are very high. As you can clearly see it here, as you can clearly see it in many other examples that we'll get into shortly, right? So this is the simple foundation of this trade. So this trade, first things first, all time frames are bearish. We are likely to go bearish. And then we identified, you guys remember what we identified last week where we were? Notice how, no, not last class, notice how we wanted this, right? We wanted this to basically wick into that area. So we catch the sell there, but it wicked into this area. And remember how I told you guys, where are we within the move? Are we in the middle of the move? So let's say this is the downtrend. Are we in the middle? Are we in the bottom? Or are we at the top? And it's like we all agreed that we were basically in the middle. Because as you can see, we're not like at a lowest point. We're literally, we're clearly not, we're not here. If we're to be here, we're obviously at the lowest point. And then we're not here where we just had gone bearish, because this is where we would just went bearish. Remember, we hadn't just gone bearish. So then here we'd be at the top. Right here, we're right in the middle on our way now to create the low, hopefully at the lowest point. You guys understand that all that clean? It's very easy to identify, right? Like you guys can pretty much see this move and how it's the middle. Should have chatted in. Yeah. Okay, cool. Perfect. Right. So all I'm doing right now, I'm just going over the markets, going over all of the examples that we did on Monday. So you guys seen it like play out, right? Makes sense. Perfect. Right. So let's go over now to GJ. All right. So GJ, how I explained to you guys, weekly, daily, 4 hours bullish, we need to retest our area of interest to buy, right? There's multiple different area of interest. We could have had this one, this one, this one, whatever the case is. So as you can tell, we are creating our retracement now to our area of interest. So we want this to come into this area. Like we want this to come here to then head to the upside. As you guys can tell, what has happened right now? Let's see if anybody can identify what has currently happened. Exactly. Fire. So the majority of you are getting it because you're seeing it, right? Like the first thing when you get on the chart, you see it. You have high, higher low, higher high, body closure under this structure. So now we are bearish. So now this is, as of right now, the lower low. And then this is, as of right now, the daily lower high, right? Put here, lower high. So as of right now, this is no longer valid. So we come here. Bearish. Daily is bearish. This is no longer 20%. Because hold on, before I answer that, let's see what the 4 hour is doing. The 4 hour, what is the 4 hour? The 4 hour bullish or is the 4 hour bearish? All right, is the 4 hour bullish or is the 4 hour bearish? It's crazy because it literally did it. Like, it's like right in front of us. Ah, tricky, tricky. Okay, yeah, great, great. Okay, yeah. So two things. Somebody just asked, why do I use Oanda versus FXCM? So it's probably like a huge trick. So this is like the server that I use. So if I were to search up GBP JPY on FXCM server instead of Oanda, as you can see, this is the one we're on right now. There's like a fuck ton of gaps. Like there's gaps everywhere, right? As you can see, there's gaps here. It's like on the daily just so you can see like the majority of it. There's gaps here, there's gaps here, there's all these gaps, and then shit just doesn't look right. You see, because here there's a gap. But then if we go over to Oanda, you just see how it cleans up and it looks so much cleaner. Like exactly where price closed, price opens. There's no gaps. You guys see that? So I highly recommend you change all of your charts to Oanda if you guys haven't already. Wow, such a simple trick. Yeah, that shit could just throw your trading completely off just because there's a gap. People, oh, it has to fill the gap. Yeah, whatever. Like what kind of strategy is that? Like you're trading gaps, like that makes no sense though. Whatever. I believe so, Jeremy. I believe so. So yeah, so as of right now, never knew that. Yeah, these are just simple things that literally just change your trading, right? Like they just change the foundation of your trading. So as of right now, you could tell that the 4 hour was creating higher high. This is all right. Let's see. Let's see. Come on. Let's have a little quick where would the higher low go if this is the higher high? Would the higher low go up 0.1 or 2? All right. You guys, couple guys messed up. 0.2. 0.2 hasn't happened yet. If this is the higher high, none of this price has happened yet. This is all like blacked out, right? So what is this point right here? What is this point right here? Okay, what about this point? As of right now, within this range, what is this point? All right, but what is this point? Okay, so this goes as the higher high. What is this point? Okay. So what happens now? Are we still bullish on this or are we bearish on this? Yo, all right. Well, I mean, okay. All right. I didn't word it right. All right. How is this whole entire move, right? Disregarding these lines right now, are we bullish or are we bearish? Is GBP JPY bullish or bearish? Dope. Mix a bunch of different mix. All right. So technically we are bearish, right? So if we zoom in, you can tell this right here, we have the line above this body. This point right here, body closed above. So now this moves to the higher high, and now this moves as the higher low. As you can see, we didn't manage to break under this. I mean, hold on, let me put this right to the top. As you can tell, they're right to the bodies. As you can tell, we didn't manage to break under, so we just did a little high low. Let's call it a potential high high, whatever. We body close under, and then what did we do? Come back, retest the sell. Like, you guys are seeing how we respect these structure points and the importance of them, right? You can tell how this can be an elbow. Like, you got to see how you could count this as an elbow because it came back and then it respected it. Consolidated box, yeah, but I thought it was. I get it, yeah, and that's why I told you guys, like, it's gonna turn tricky when you guys think some of the elbows are too smalls, or like it's gonna happen, right? Like, it's gonna come over time. Like, personally, I would count this as a cleaner elbow than this one right here. This one just doesn't look like clean, and I don't like. See, you see this, how this looks like a clean elbow. It kind of looks the same as this one. Let's say this would have had this candlestick that would have been like this, like a big candlestick like that. Now it would look like a clean elbow, right? But you have to treat it the same because it body closed above the line. Because this candlestick could have easily just done something like this, and now we all respect it as an elbow. But it's the same exact pullback. Two red candlestick pullback, two red candlestick pullback, bullish engulfing, breaking above. Just the break above this one is not anywhere as big, obviously, as this one. So even if the one candle, it just has to look like a clean elbow. Like, I haven't figured that out yet, in the sense of, like, I don't want to explain something and just set a rule for that and then we be completely wrong, because I don't want to set a rule like, oh, it has to be a two candlestick pullback and then it's a guaranteed elbow, because then you'll have like stuff where it's like 5 candlestick pullbacks and it's not like, it's not an elbow. It just doesn't look good. Look, for example, here you have 1 2 3 4 5. Doesn't look like an elbow. You get me? So that's why I haven't set a rule with that yet, or haven't like put an exact number on it, because personally for me it's just what looks cleanest. Yeah, I just haven't been able to properly. For example, here, notice this how we obviously we're creating higher highs and higher lows, higher high, higher low, higher high. We break it, we come back, retest it and sell. But notice how it's not like an elbow. It's like 4 or 5 candlesticks, but like this looks cleaner than that. You're seeing it? And this is the importance of like support and resistance, right? I'm just getting like a little off side track here. But look, the same level, we're at resistance, we're at support, we're at resistance, elbow again. Like, look at all these like break and retests. Like, this is like where the money's at. All these little bullshit break and retests. Like, you're selling on the resistance, you're buying above support. Like, it does not get any more complicated than that, right? It's easy to elbows form when there's a dip. Yeah, exactly. Right, so technically, as of right now, you guys see how the 4-hour is bearish now? Is that a little bit more clear? Or is it got it? All right, perfect. Right, so as of right now, technically this is 10% or 20% still, because now we have the 4-hour bearish and the daily's bullish. So now this is where a lot of people could potentially maybe enter sells, which again, they're not wrong. They're not bad sells, but like, where are you getting out? You got to know where you got to get out. And then where we're looking to get out is obviously at this point right here, where we're looking for the overall buy, right? So again, right, as of right now, we're just keeping it to what we did yesterday. I don't want to get sidetracked. I do want to see your guys' homework. So as you guys can see now, the daily is bearish. So exactly how I basically predicted this on Euro GBP. If you guys literally just go back to the recording, you guys see exactly how I said. All right, now that this body has closed under, you guys remember this? I'm like, now that the body has closed under this, now this is going to have a little minor retracement, and then it's going to dip to the downside, right? You guys remember this from the recording? Let me see, bro, I keep losing the chat. That was a crazy call. I mean, it's not that it's a crazy call, it's just easy. Because like, I'm telling you, once you start seeing it, you're gonna learn it. Like, I'm telling you, you're gonna literally predict the market. Like, that's like the ultimate flex, right? So GJ is gonna do the same thing now. Now the daily has body closed under this structure point, making this now, delete all this. making this now the lower low. This is going to have a little lower high to then have the next lower low. This is where some people could maybe enter sells right now, get stopped out by wicked out, and they don't even know what the fuck is going on. It's because like this daily right here needs to create this wick. It's got to create that little pullback. That's where we could potentially enter on a minor day trade to catch the sell all the way down, right? And this is exactly what happened with Euro GBP. Euro GBP, the daily remained bullish with the 4-hour and bearish. That's the wick that I was talking about. It basically created, right? I want to go to USD CAD and talk about USD CAD, right? Because we started off the week, explained to you guys how we were bullish. We're at our area of interest. We're exactly where we want to be, exactly where we want to buy this trade to the upside, right? We were in the middle of the trade, right? We properly understood where we were. We know exactly we are right here. We were exactly at this point that was going to be used as resistance, as support, resistance as support. And this is the area where we have the most probabilities to take the trade up, right? You guys remember all of that? Perfect. Clean. Okay, so this is where obviously we go down to the daily. Perfect rejection from the daily, rejection from around psychological 130,000. And this is where I was explaining to you guys, all right, now we need to have an A plus trade setup. Where is this? To have an A plus trade setup, we need to have the 4-hour go bullish. In order for us to have the 4-hour go bullish, we would need to then break above this lower high. The moment we break above the lower high, then we'll wait for our higher low. And then that's where we'll, implement the strategy, everything else. And then that's where we'll buy. So obviously we broke that 4-hour structure point and then it never came back. I mean, there's literally nothing I can do. I am so out of control here. Let's say if I was even marking up the market structure on the lower time frame, I could have not bought here because this is a lower low. Like there's literally nothing we could have done. Like this is just break, zero pullback. I literally had an alarm at this point. Zero pullback to take the trade long. So it happens. And guess what we do? We just simply move on to the next pair. Like nothing happens. Like the fact that you predicted it, the fact that we waited a week for it to come back, the fact that we waited for it to get their area of interest, the fact that we waited for all these things and it didn't give us, it's cool. We're on to the next trade. We know it clearly works because we're literally seeing it work. Like we're seeing the foundation and how it's building up, and then it goes. It's crazy how the fundamentals align. Yeah, so fundamentals aligned with technicals. So anything like the news that usually lines up with the technical analysis, that's why I don't really care. I didn't even know there was news going on, but I would have not treated this any differently if there is news or not news. News to me is pretty much nothing. Like I don't really care about it. You're not waiting for the trade. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. The ideal next trade setup would be now for the same thing. Now I need a higher low to go long. Where would I wait the higher low? That's where we set different area of interest and stuff like that, right? But like right now, I just want to master first. You guys understand where we are in the move and how this was exactly where I explained everything on the line chart. Like this is where you want to be, right? That was so fire. Yeah, this is pretty simple, very simple. You guys saw this play out. Like when you guys saw this play out, like what do you guys think? Like when you guys were seeing this go down. It's trippy, right? It's like trippy as fuck. He's a wizard. Yeah. Okay. So now Euro GBP, same thing. I had my alarm. Yeah, it happens. Trust me. And this is something that we'll get into like the next couple of weeks. Like right now, I just want to focus on like getting like the trading first. Like understand, like I want you guys to understand trading first before I teach you guys anything. Well, obviously I'm teaching you how to understand trading, but like the real understanding, so then I can teach you how to exactly take the trade where, right? So same thing here. The moment we body close under this higher low, I explained to you guys, now we are bearish. Now this point right here turns into the lower low. This higher point now turns into the lower high. And now we are destined to have a retracement to then have the next lower low. So this is where we put a lower low here. And then this is where we put, all right, let's see, where would you put the lower high here? Would you put the lower high at 0.1, at 0.2, or at 0.3? Kind of confusing, right? A lot of different A lot of different answers. See a lot of people, yeah, changing answers. So this is very tricky as well. Like 2 looks the cleanest, but 3 could be it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like again, like there is no right or wrong answer. It's not like, all right, if this is the elbow, now this trade completely changes. Or if this is the elbow, now this trade completely changes. So this is all up to you and to what you think is the most logical reasoning. Like, do you think that if price breaks above this, it is now bullish, or do you think it could still have the push to the downside and now be bearish? Kind of exactly like here, right? So the moment we body closed under this, I was like, yo, trust me, this shit's gone. Now this is bearish for a fact. By it breaking that hairline right there, like, trust me, this is gonna have now the retracement and now we're bearish, right? Because that's just, I've seen it before happen. I'm confident, and it's just what it is, right? So now you have to ask yourself the same exact thing. What is it here? Is it this one or is it this one? So do you think the moment we body close above this one, now we're bullish completely? Now we can have a retracement and go up? Or do you think it can be this one, right? There is really, like, the market's going to give you all these different types of things, and like there's no right or wrong answer. Like, you personally yourself, you just have to like go with your gut, and then what makes the most logical sense to you when you're typing up your confidences, right? For this example, exactly, yeah. For this example, I'm going to keep it to the structure, to what we've been like explaining, and I'm going to keep it to the cleanest elbow, which is going to be this one. But for my personal preference, ideally, I would put this one just because it's the last point. But for this example, we're going to keep it to this elbow, right? But it doesn't matter. What matters right now is that now the 4 hours bearish, daily's bullish, weekly's bullish, right? So where are we within the move right now, right? So are we at, where are we within the move? Are we at 0.1? Are we at 0.2? Or are we at 0.3? Right? We got to understand where we are within the move. All right, pretty interesting replies. Okay. All right. So as of right now, we are technically at 0.3. Obviously, 0.1 is out of the picture. We're definitely not at 0.1 because 0.1 would be basically right here, right? 0.2 is a little bit into our area of interest. And then 0.3 would be obviously at our final area of interest, which is the previous resistance used as support, right? So where we are in the move right now is obviously an area what we're looking to buy, right? Oh, it's because, okay, yeah, you see it now. Yeah, yeah. Like if I just simply just do this, it's very clean, right? It just says support and resistance. So we're at our area of interest. So this is where we type up number 2. Retesting area of interest, right? So this is exactly where USD CAD was about a couple hours ago or a day ago before I had this crazy move. If you notice, it's the same exact thing. We just created a lower low at our area of interest, waiting for it to shift bullish to have the buy. Euro GBP, we have just created our lower low to our area of interest, waiting for it to shift bullish for our buy. You guys are seeing how we had the, what was it? We had the round psychological. Is there any round psychological? Round psychological, we'll get into it later. So, but you guys are seeing how it's basically the exact same thing. USD CAD is a little bit different due to the fact that we were buying at an area of interest on the weekly versus on Euro GBP, we're buying at an area of interest of the daily. You guys are seeing kind of the difference there, right? How like it's more stronger, how it looks like there's a lot more going on. Because right now you go to the 4 hour, all you have going on is just this, pretty much this, and that's it. Like there's really nothing else going on. Versus USD CAD, when you're at a weekly area of interest, there's a shit ton more of support and resistance going on. You guys are seeing the difference, right? I'm kind of giving you guys like an introduction to next week. Are there area of interest on every time frame? Yes, yes. But the main one is number 2, which is the higher, whatever. Why do we buy a different Why do we buy at different time frames from an area of interest? Because if you're just buying, so like let's say right now you would have bought at this area of interest on the daily or weekly, like how are you looking for an entry signal on the daily or weekly? Like let's say now this is your entry signal because you just got a rejection for your area of interest, your stop loss has to be under here, and now your take profit has to be like this point over here for this to even make sense. So the reason why we go to other time frames is so we can do this. We can get a tighter entry, and then we can have obviously a larger risk to reward. The point of the other time frames is so we can get into the trade before it happens. Like it literally gives us the shift of structure, gives us everything. So the move we get in with it. So once we break above the higher high, we are bullish. Once we break below the low, we are bearish. Yes, Elijah. Yes. To get into the trade precisely, yeah. And what is your preferred time frame to enter? Entries last week, bro. Last week is going to be the last thing we cover. Right now, we're focused on this. I want to make sure you guys get this before we get into any of that. All right, so your GBP, we understand where we are when they're in the middle of the move. NZD CAD, not even going to pay attention to it. How do I flip the chart? So make sure to go over here to your whatever this is called. Right click it and then you invert it. As you can tell, like this now looks cleaner for buys versus this for sells because it just looks like it's too low. So now when you flip it, it looks good, right? So I personally think I'm a lot better at buying. I had like one point like this like psychological barrier for whatever reason. Like this is like probably like the dumbest thing I ever thought of, but like I was better at sells because since like gravity pulls everything down, so I'm like, all right, bet like sells, it should supposed to drop faster because it goes with gravity or whatever. Like it was like the dumbest thing I could have ever thought of in my life. And so then I figured out this, and then when I figured out this like came out. But yeah, like whatever works, right? So still one skid. Yeah. So right now, before I get into the homework with you guys, I want you guys to tell me which one out of these now, right? So this is the importance of coming to your charts every day, setting an hour aside or 30 minutes, even 10 minutes. I sometimes do this shit in 5 minutes. Like you just got to set aside and you got to know where we are within the move. So I'm going to give you guys 3 options. So out of all of these pairs right here, I want you guys to line up the ones that are ready, that are like USD CAD. Now, remember how we started off the week? I put USD CAD as number 1 because all we were looking for was our entry to buy. So I want you guys to organize all of these like that now, right? And I'm going to give you guys 3 different categories to categorize these trades. Are we at the top? Are we at the middle? Or are we at the bottom? And then that's when we decide how we organize them. If we're at the top, that's obviously not the number 1. If we're in the middle, that is, it's interesting. But if we're at the bottom, that is not interesting at all, right? Well, top and bottom is the same shit, right? So we're either in the middle on our way to our area of interest or number 3 already there, right? So top or bottom, on the way there, area of interest, right? All right, USD CAD, where are we? Okay, gangster. All right, top. So if we're at the top, we're not even like remotely on the way to our area of interest right now. But we put it on the bottom. It's clearly not a focus. All right. AUD where are we? Are we on 1, 2, or 3? Okay. 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 So we're obviously at the bottom. Same exact thing as USD CAD. Not really much going on here, right? So now we have GJ. Where are we on GJ? Okay. Fire. Okay, clearly, right? We're on our way to our area of interest. We're not there yet because if it were to be, there would be like this, right? We're on our way to our area of interest where we're looking to buy. This is crazy. I'm telling you, what I'm about to teach you guys in the next 2 weeks is like it's going to be insane. All right, so this one's in the middle. So let's just put this on top of AUD and USD CAD, right? So these two technically right now, I would basically just be done with them completely for the week. But since we started the week with them, let's keep it pushing with them. So let's just leave it for there for now. So we're only down to these two, right? So if a pair is at the top, should it still remain on your radar? I think I just answered that right now. Mind blowing. All right. So where are we on Euro GBP? Are we at 1, 2, or 3? All right. Full leverage right now. You guys are retarded. All right, so this one's for sure, like as of right now, the most important one. So we have our last one, which would be NZD CAD, right? So NZD CAD, where would you guys say we're on NZD CAD? Mix of a little bit, mix of a little bit. I don't even, yeah, just a mix. Yeah. So 2 on the way, because we could basically be coming back into this area right here to sell. So now obviously it's a battle between these 3. So obviously Euro GBP is number 1 because we're at our area of interest. NZD CAD is pulling up to our area of interest, and then we have GJ. So I personally would organize it like this, where it'd be 1, 2, 3, and then these 2 other ones I would just completely dismiss. But I'm going to keep it there because since we started off the boot camp with them and we started off the week with them, I'm going to keep them like I'm going to stay with them throughout the whole boot camp. You're going to see, bro, I'm going to predict every single one of these moves like to the T, right? Or at least I'm going to try my best to. And then you're going to see the importance of starting the week with the right analysis. Because if you start off the week with this right and with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like it just does it for you. Like the market's literally just going to be like, all right, yeah, cool. Checked off, checked off, checked off. It's going to do it for you, right? So that's the only reason why I'm sticking with these 2, but ideally I would remove them. So right now we have Euro GBP, GJ, and then NZD CAD. All right, cool. All right, so now let's review the homework, right? So that was just like a little recap from last class, right? So boy, Carlos is nervous already, bro. This guy's giggling, man. Yeah. All right, so let's start off with all right, so group 1, I'm just gonna literally just pick a random name. I'm gonna pick Jonathan Aguilar. You're in here, my bro? You're in here. All right, fire. Where you at? I have to find you. 1 second. Jonathan Aguilar. All right, go ahead, bro. You can unmute yourself.
Yo, what's up, bro?
What's good, bro?
Good, bro. Oof, the pressure's on now.
Nah, bro, trust me, you're good. Everybody's muted. Bro, imagine the first boot camp doing this, and then everybody was unmuted. Like whenever you'd fuck up, people would just like roast you on the spot, man. But you're good, bro. You're good. Trust
You
me.
got heart, bro. I appreciate that.
Yeah. All right. Let me see if I could. All right. I don't want to make you host, bro, because I don't want to stop the recording. That shit's annoying because then I have to like
Gotcha.
I have like 25,000. So I'll put you in a waiting room.
Would I be able to screen share?
Yeah, that's what I want to see if I can let you do right now. All right. Let me see if I could do it here on the settings. You can have them send you a screenshot. Yeah, like all right, look, so like I'm like what I used to do is I would make host. I can make them co-host. Yeah, let me see if I can figure it out. All right, let's just see what happens when I make you host. Let's see.